Bum, ba, ba, bow, ba, 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 bow, bum, boom. Do 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 da 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 ba da 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 ba da. I know all the words of that song. Listen, I am so pumped right now to bring you this story. Why? Why, Ninja, are you so pumped? Because history literally repeats itself. It doesn't rhyme. The guy that came up with rhyme, it's just because he wanted to come up with this whole thing. He's like, I want to make something new that's going to be quoted all the time, but it's got to be believable, but different. It doesn't rhyme. It literally repeats itself. We're going to be talking about Germany. We're going to talk about the EU. We're going to talk about the US. Now, you have known that for years I have said this, and it was based off of a handful of prophecies, which I completely believe in my spirit to be true, that Europe will fall first, and then we have a matter of about 6 to 8 weeks until the US falls. The reason why such a short period of time is because how tied in our two economies are. Why? Because the Federal Reserve is just an iteration of the Bank of England. That's right. We beat them back during the Revolutionary War. I'm sorry, we beat back the British. They snuck their way back in. They got their claws into us, and they make money from our taxes. I know it sounds crazy. We are one bank, okay? So when Europe falls, we're going to fall too. Now, something before I get into the story, out of CNBC, this is the headline news. And as a matter of fact, if I had a little more time, I'd pull up the news story from 2005, because it is almost identical. Very few people understand that Germany is the reason why we fell into the Great Recession. Reason why the mortgage-backed security crisis was such a big deal is because Germany fell into a recession in 2005, and it was a basket case. Oh, you can't make this stuff up. This is so exciting. They were a basket case. They rejiggered all their jet, right? Here, wait, hold on a second. The Spiral Capitalist said hi, and wait, I got two, and Stacker Factor gave us super chats. Thank you so much, guys. Okay, so here's the deal. They redid their debts, and everything was fine. Then those reverberations in the debts where they go, hey, we owe you this much to whatever, Bank A, Bank B, Bank C. Now we're only going to be able to afford this much because we're pretty much claiming bankruptcy. Those losses came across the pond and hit the Americas. Hit America. Then we had the Great Recession. Now, this is what blows my mind and pisses me off at the same time. During 2013, we had the European debt crisis. You guys remember type 1, where they were blaming Cyprus and Greece for all their problems. No, that was not the case. Everybody was in trouble. They just wanted to point fingers at the small guys and feel good about themselves. Germany was all over the headlines, being the biggest bully of the EU, pointing, I mean, they've got a history of being bullies. And I'm sure if you're from Germany, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let me know down below. Pointing their fingers at Cyprus and Greece and how wrong they were. And then we had bail-ins from these banks and horrible things that happened to both of those economies. But the entire EU was sick, right? In Germany, I was just blown away that nobody remembered that Germany went through this huge recession and pulled down the Eurozone in 2005, 2006, and then subsequently pulled down America. Right? Now it's happening again. Now I told you, everything's falling in the fall. We're going to see this fall happening in the fall. Guess what's on CNBC right now? This is the title of the story. Look, I'm really reading a story, I promise. Germany is the sick man of Europe, and it's causing a shift to the right, top economist says. Make this crap up. Whew. This is why I know housing's going to crash. I went through it. Let's do this. All right, here we go. I'm not going to go through the key points. Germany is once again the sick man of Europe, according to Hans Wienerstein. That's a heck of a name. President Emeritus at the IFO Institute, and the challenges that poses, particularly in terms of the country's energy strategy, could serve to benefit increasingly popular right-wing parties. Now, there's going to be a slant to this story, but I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to read this story, and you got to understand where the slant's coming from and all blah, blah, blah. There's going to be more stories coming out about how Germany's economy is collapsing. This is just the first one that's being captured. And what I want you to understand, they're going to talk about how, oh my gosh, you're going to go to the right wing. Oh, this is horrible, whatever. They're going to try and label it as bad because they're going to try and uncover, they're going to show blame. I mean, how do I put this right? Germany's economy is crashing. So they want to blame it on right-wing stuff rather than the left's inability to budget. And it's funny, no matter you're right-leaning or left-leaning, right-leaning, wherever you are in the world, right-leaning tends to be more conservative and saves money. Left blows it and buys votes. It's exciting. So what they're going to do is they're going to lean and they're going to start pointing, we're collapsing because of those people, the right-wingers. This is just the first story, and I'm so excited that they say the word the sick man, because the sick man was used in 2005. I'll go back and find those stories for you guys. It says here, the sick man of Europe, Monkier. Is that even how you pronounce that word? Type yes or no. I'm bad at that stuff. Has resurfaced in recent weeks as manufacturing output continues to shudder in the region's largest economy, and the country grapples with high energy prices because they're not that bright. You remember when, they get all of their energy from other sources, and they're like, oh, we want to start a proxy war with Russia through Ukraine. So let's not certify that pipeline of natural gas that comes into our country from Russia. And Russia's like, really? You really want to do this? And they're like, oh yeah. Okay, don't certify it. And then natural gas. Crazy, but they're always trying to blame other people when it's really them. Now, again, I want to preface all of this story, even though I'm going nuts right now and having fun because I'm super pumped, because this just proves my thesis that Germany is still viewed as the strongest in the Eurozone, just like they were in 2013, okay? So as more and more of their crash comes out, Deutsche Bank, and other things, it's going to be bad, and it's gonna deteriorate rapidly. So it says the manufacturing output continues to shudder in the region's largest economy, and country grapples with high energy prices. The label was originally used to describe the German economy in 1998 as it navigated the costly challenges of a post-reunification economy. So that is the first time it did come out, the sick man of Europe, but it wasn't until 2005 that it had its recession. But trust me, I believe that you're going to see that happen a lot faster. It's not a short-term phenomenon, Sin told CNBC's Steve Sedgwick at the Ambrosi Forum in Italy on Friday. It has to do with the automobile industry, which is the heart of the German industry, and many hinge on that. Woo! I gotta be honest with you, if you're hinging on a BMW going over 100,000 miles without having problems, you got issues. Do you guys know what I mean? Ugh. Okay, he said cars were Germany's main export product last year, accounting for 15.6% of the value of goods sold abroad, Federal Statistics Office data shows. Germany reported a foreign trade deficit for the first time in decades in May of 2022. Totaling 1 billion euros, the country has briefly shifted from a trade surplus to importing more than it exports. Well, that's not good. Germany has since returned to a trade surplus, which came to 18.7 billion euros in June of 2023 to the Federal Statistics Office, but exports remain sluggish. Check this out. Plunge in business sentiment. Sin said investors doubt about the feasibility of Germany's sustainability goals. Also play into the description of the country as the sick man of Europe. Now, I've got a lot of subscribers. There are a lot of Ninja Nation members that are in Germany. They email me, they comment all the time. Type Germany if you're from Germany, actually, right now. And they're all saying the exact same thing. We're in trouble. What are we doing pushing this war with the United States also concurrently, to go attack Russia, using Ukraine as the proxy, and we're hyperinflating here. It's not good, and it's going to lead to destruction. But the thing is pride comes before a fall. And I believe that has happened to both Europe and to the US. They've gotten too big for their britches. They think they can just crush it, and they're not going to make it. Look, even on this live stream right now, people from Germany. Hi, MC. We got somebody from Holland right now. Awesome. All right. Some describe Germany's ambitions to move away from the Russian gas as wildly optimistic. I said wildly moronic, particularly in light of the country's climate targets, which are lame anyway because most of that crap's even just made up. Speaking at the see how I feel? You guys, there's no denying how the ninja feels about this climate change crap. Speaking at the Ambrosi Forum, Sin said a reliance on renewable technologies such as wind and solar would cause a volatility problem, which could pose issues for business. So instead of the words volatility problem, he should say it'll cause this green energy crap, it don't work. It takes more fossil fuels to make it, and then it doesn't produce enough electricity. And it's because the elites invested all those companies before we heard about it. That's it. It's like George Bush and hydrogen vehicles. Remember those? Remember that? Was that like 2005 or something? I don't remember what year. Like hydrogen. They invested in it and they pulled the plug and nothing. But they made money. Well, that's nice for them. This is double cost. This is high energy cost, and this is not good for industry. It's a difficult course. Germany could lose 2 to 3% of its current industrial capacity as companies move operations to countries where gas and electricity are cheaper, such as the US or Saudi Arabia. You're welcome here. Come here and build things here. Because we need your tax base. And what's really exciting is then we see the tax base get stripped from Germany and we'll knock out the head, because Germany right now is the head of Europe. You know, Germany has had quite a century-long leadership position in Europe. And the one factor that you got to realize about Germany is it keeps getting smacked down. It goes through hyperinflation, then it goes through tyranny, then it goes through being cocky, and it just keeps getting smacked down. So, whew. You just got to sort of see this, sort of see these cycles. It's super exciting. Uncertainty about energy prices has likely contributed to a plunge in business sentiment. The chief economist at Benberg wrote in a note, he added that the current policy uncertainty and the dismay about half-baked government plans are not structural factors that look set to hold back the German economy for long. That doesn't even make sense to me. But there are growing signs of public disenchantment in the shift to or this is what happens when you read live. Just, get hyped up on coffee, stand by. Okay, that's back. He added that the current policy uncertainty and the dismay about half-baked government plans are not structural factors that look set to hold back the German economy for long. But there are growing signs of public disenchantment in the shift to a more sustainable Europe, with a so-called greenlash emerging as people feel the cost impacts. Well, that's weird. So you're trying to force everybody onto this green stuff because it's good for the environment, but it's going to cost a boatload. So I'm keeping it clean. A boatload of money, and the people don't like it. We haven't even entered hyperinflation yet. I mean, we're getting close. Food and energy are going to be the commodities. And when you talk about stocks, like I've been talking about this bull run coming in commodities, and especially like we're talking like lithium and all that kind of stuff. That's one thing. But then you've got your commodities for, your monetary commodities like silver and gold. Platinum, I would say, enter that, but then that's really just industrial. That's going to be insane. It's going to be insane. People are going to lose their minds once governments start losing their minds over trying to get a hold of this stuff. I'm so excited about this. Germany's Federal Ministry for Economic Affairs and Climate Action did not immediately respond to CNBC's request for comment because he's scared. See, the truth is, very few people understand that Germany caused Europe to go down in 2005, which rippled into the US by 2008. And actually, I was seeing news stories and reading news stories in 2006 about certain derivatives that were popping off in America because of their ties, their investments in Germany. Germany is going to be, in my opinion, the linchpin that takes down Europe. It's going to break and it's going to take down Europe, but they're going to blame everybody and their mother in Europe. They're going to blame the small countries. They're going to blame Russia for sure because of Ukraine, and they're going to blame everyone but themselves and America. We have 6 to 8 weeks this time when we see that crash here in America. And I'll be reporting on it, and I'll bring up those stories, and I'll find the stories from 2005 that I was referring to, and I'll do a video about them so that you can see I'm not full of hot air, full of other things, like coffee. All right, with that being said, I thank you so much for watching, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, the Economic Ninja is out.